I have just bought a new car, and since I have a vehicle YouTube channel, admittedly mostly full of motorhomes these days, but let's skip merrily past that, I want to make a video of it. This is it, look at this. This is my new second-hand Mercedes-Benz SL400. Now this is actually quite a rare beast. It is a 2016 Edition model. Now they only made 130 of these, and in fact they only then made 42 with a luxury package, and this is one of them. Now those of you who are been on the channel for a little while might be scratching your heads at this point and saying, hang on, didn't you already have a 2016 Mercedes SL400 Edition? And the answer to that is yes, actually I did. This is exactly the same, apart from being a different colour. But there are a couple of crucial differences to this one. The most important, and the reason that when I saw this one advertised I thought it was worth going to take a look at, is the mileage, because this has been babied. It is absolutely like new, and the mileage, if we have a little look inside, you can see that all right. Yeah, there we go. 12,500. In fact, I've done 1,000 miles on it. It had 11,000 when I got it. Now that is a 5-year-old car. It was actually owned by a gentleman and his wife, and they have apparently a collection of rather nice cars, and this was their sort of convertible sunny day. I don't think this car had probably ever even seen rain before I got involved in it. Of course, the poor thing lives outside now, so it knows what rain is all about, but it is just perfect. In fact, when I went to have a look at it, I was kind of in two minds. I thought, well, I don't know, it's the same again, it's a bit of a waste of money. But as soon as I saw it and saw the condition it's in, so things like this here, which on my car was just starting to get a little bit pitted and just showing the weather a little bit, absolutely perfect. And even things like, if I opened the boot, which is power assisted because it's part of the luxury pack, there we go, full of rubbish. These are the drains for the water that runs off the roof, and of course because they're always wet in the winter they get a bit manky. These look like absolutely brand new. It is perfect. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. And the one I had before, that was up to, well, it's past 50,000 miles. It was just starting to feel it a little bit. I don't think it had been the most loved car in the world, if I'm totally honest with you. That's the impression I got. I think it had been ridden hard and put away wet once too often, and although I did look after it as best I could, it always didn't feel quite right. This, as soon as I drove it, you could tell the difference. It just felt perfect. And look, there's Marianne sat there in the corner, bless her, long suffering she is while I do this sort of nonsense. If you haven't seen Marianne's channel, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. There we go. Now there's one other big difference with this car compared to my last. It's kind of a small thing, but it makes all the difference in the world, and that is these Edition models only came on 18-inch wheels, whereas all the AMG versions, which are the AMG style, I think they call it, not actually AMG cars, they all come on 19s. Now the original owner of this, who I think was a bit of a car buff, in fact I know he was, I spoke to him briefly after I bought it, he put these wheels on. Now these are Bourbet alloys. They're German, they're very expensive, they're 19-inch, and they are designed specifically for this car. So they are the exact size of if you went for the 19-inch option in the first place, which, as I say, was never actually available on the limited versions. And I think they look gorgeous. I think they really suit the car. I love the way that this one sort of dishes out slightly, just a little bit more than the front one, because the back wheels are slightly wider. So it gives it that kind of dragster look almost. And we've got to talk about this colour, because this is beautiful. They only actually did the limited versions in 3 colours. You could have black, which my last one was. You could have silver, I think it's called iridium silver, and you could have this, which is brilliant blue. And what's great about it is it almost kind of changes colour depending on the light. So at the moment, in the bright sunlight, it's a really bright blue. You see it at night, it looks like a really dark, sexy blue. It's stunning. Now, the options on this, one of the things it has, which is essential for me, is it has the rising suspension. So you can push a button in here. It's got what they call ABC, active body control suspension, and then the whole car will actually rise up, which for me is very important because my driveway kind of comes up slightly and then drops away. And if you don't have that, you can end up beaching the car on the sort of the triangle of it. So that's a very useful thing. What else do you get? Well, with the luxury pack, you get things like power closing doors, which when I first got those on my previous car, I thought was ridiculous. But actually, they're really nice. As soon as you get used to them, it just seems like a lovely way to do it. You just touch it and let go, and it closes it for you. So it has that. Let's have a look inside. I'll show you some of the other treats. If you've seen my previous video, you'll know a lot of this. This again, look at the steering wheel in here. It's still got that new car sort of sheen to it, that sort of matte finish rather than sort of slightly polished finish you normally get on a second-hand car. It's got Harman Kardon Hi-Fi in here. It has got the climate control, of course. It's got heated and ventilated seats. So these got little dots in them. You can blow cool air through those. What else have we got in here? One thing that's very important is up in behind here there are a camera system, and that will actually monitor the car in front. When you set the cruise control, if you set it at 70 and you come up behind a car doing 60, it slows down, it matches the car in front, and then when that car moves off or you pull out to overtake it, cruises back up to its normal speed, and it even does the steering, which is pretty cool. Did I mention Harman Kardon Hi-Fi? Hopefully I did, but that's the speakers for that. I think it's an 11 speaker system here. It's a brilliant Hi-Fi. But it was the condition. The condition of this car is like new. It's stunning. And the other thing it's got, of course, as you probably know if you know anything about cars, is the convertible roof. So if I start the engine, it's a little roar. Ready? Oh, isn't that sexy? And now there's a lever underneath here. Pull that. Boot goes up. The roof folds away. And there we go. There's a one touch to put all the windows down. Another thing it has, it's an option on this car. This has every single option except for the magic roof, which is a tinting glass panel. Doesn't have that. It doesn't have the illuminated Mercedes badges in the sills. Other than that, it's got everything, including this I really like. If I push that button there, it's a wind deflector. Stops it ruffling your bouffant when you're traveling at speed. Even things like this clock was an extra, but as I say, they put everything on here. It's even got the extended fuel tank on this one, so I think it's about an extra 15 or 20 litres of fuel, which always makes me wonder, why would you not have that? Why would you want a smaller fuel tank? But nonetheless, this has got the big one, so that is good news. And that is about it, really. We'll take a little drive, I think. I'll go and find Marianne. She can hold the camera, and we'll take it for a whiz.
Going for a drive?
Yeah. Show us the power closing doors, Marianne.
Okay.
Look at that. I don't know how well that worked. What else have we got in here? I just mentioned a couple of other things. It has got the dynamic seats. If we push the seat button here, you'll hopefully see it in this little screen. There we go. You see the highlighted bits. You can alter how much they cuddle you. So if you're a big chap, you can widen them out a bit, and if you're slim, you can bring them in a bit. But also, it has, if I go through here, lumbar control, that adjusts up and down and in and out. There's a massage function, which is actually very nice, and this I like, dynamic seat. What this does is, as you corner, if you turn to the right, then the left-hand bolster, because you tend to obviously get pushed that way, bolsters up and holds you in place. And as Marion likes to say, it's when I'm driving badly, it's like someone's giving a little cuddle, going, "You're all right, I've got you, everything's fine." So there we go. That's that. Let's put that back. Obviously, there's navigation on here and all the usual gubbins that you would expect. But yeah, let's give it a whiz and see how it goes. Another thing I like about this, a lot of cars have them now, of course, is cuddling seat belts. You put this on, you watch it, gives a little pull. There we go. It's almost like it's measuring you, just sort of, make sure that if there is an incident and it needs to tighten up, it knows exactly how big you are. That's nice. There are a couple of modes to the driving dynamics. You can have it in comfort as it is now, or we can push the dynamic select. We can go to sport. You might hear the exhaust open up then. And you can go to sport plus. There it is. Now it's a sports car. And we will go this way. In fact, I'll put it back in comfort, I think, for the moment, while we're just doing this bit, because it's all a little bit quieter while we're going through the village. And we should talk about engines, because this has the smallest engine that they put into the SL of this era. And the smallest engine is a 3-litre V6 twin turbo. It's, I think I'm right in saying, 362 horsepower, and the 0 to 60 time of that engine is 4.9 seconds, which again leads to the question, why would you possibly want anything faster? But you can have it if you want it. They did a 4.4 litre V8 with twin turbos, and they did a, I think I'm right in saying, 5.5 litre AMG version, and that is also twin turbo and more highly tuned. That's really properly ridiculously quick. But if that isn't enough for you, they did a V12 6.3 litre. I think it's over 600 horsepower. I mean, 0 to 60 on that must be 4 seconds, I guess. Interestingly, they're all limited to 155 miles an hour, so none of those are any faster than this one. They just get there quicker. But honestly, the power that's in this, I've never ever been in a situation where I thought, I wish it was a bit quicker. So I'm pretty happy with the engine that they put into here. It is more than sufficient. In fact, I did look at an AMG. One came up for sale in Mercedes and Exeter, and it had all the right spec, and it was a black one. It's a higher mileage than this actually, but it was slightly newer. Well, most of them are higher mileage than this, of course. But that car, where can we go here? King's Kerswell. Let's go on down a bit further. Let's wait for that chap. Oh, I'll wave because I... So that was doing something very British there. I waited for him, or her I think. Was it her? I waited for her. She didn't wave to say thank you, and I waved to her to say thank you for... I don't know what I was thanking her for. Anyway, I went and looked at an AMG version. I didn't drive it, which is probably for the best. And that was the V8. And that was, thank you very much, 19,000 miles on it, so higher mileage, but I think it was a year newer. But it was something like, where are we? About almost £30,000 more, and £30,000 to get to 60. Let's go down here. Half a second quicker. It didn't feel like good value. I mean, a lovely, lovely car. If money was no object, an AMG one would be an almighty thing to own. But yeah, it was just too much. I did look at some other cars as well. I got quite excited, so excited in fact, that I actually went to London to look at one particular car and took it for a test drive, an Audi A8. And the reason for that is because what I want mostly from a car, most important, is something that's really quiet and really comfortable for doing long trips. So I want to be able to jump into it, drive to Southampton, which is 3.5 hours, do some filming, drive back. That can be 7 hours in the car, and the more comfortable and the quieter it is, the better. And that Audi A8 is sensational from that point of view. Really comfortable. It's got double glazing in it. It's got noise cancellation. It's incredible. However, I just couldn't get past the feeling that I felt like I was 17 again and driving my dad's car. It was just a great big saloon car. And also, I have to be honest, it didn't feel that special. The way it was finished, it was beautiful. It was a lovely interior, but it just felt like a really big Audi A4 rather than a special exotic car in its own right, which, considering they're about £85,000 new, I don't know, it just didn't feel like an £85,000 car. Having said that, it was an ex-demonstrator and it was under 50,000 and it had 1,000 miles on it, and that struck me as incredible value, which is another reason I was tempted. But yeah, got really close to the wire with that, had some brilliant technology on it. In fact, I made a little video which I'll see if I can insert, which I sent to Marianne. The camera system on them is just brilliant. I do have to just show you this. This is a 3D view of the car on the screen. Okay, watch this. That's actually the car. Those cars there, you see there's a grey one and then a white one. That's those ones. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. You go right to the front. What, can it go further? Yeah, it can. Look at that. That's the front of the car. Oh, overhead. Let's look down the side. That's technology for you, isn't it? And there's a helicopter view here, look. That's where we're parked. Remarkable. All very pretty. Now screen on here. Oh, it's all lovely. It's all very, very lovely and very new. Extraordinarily new. Pretty cool, huh? Sunroof. But yeah, it just wasn't my car, and I find with the SL it fits me better. It feels quiet and comfortable. It's got the massaging seats, it's fast, it's all the things you want it to be, but it's also fun. And it's the kind of thing that when you park it and you walk away from it, you stop, you turn back and you take a last look at it. And I don't think I would ever do that with an Audi A8. Okay, we're just going out onto dual carriageway now, so I am going to pop it back into sport mode. There we go. In fact, let's go all the way. Let's go Sport Plus. And predictably, everybody's in the way. Oh, no, we might be all right. No. This guy's not going to let me out. No, well done. And this is exactly why the AMG version, lovely though it is, for another £30,000, there's not a lot of good in this country because you've just sat behind everybody else, which is what we're doing right now. So I'm not going to use any of the performance of this car, let alone the extra, I don't know, 100 or 200 horsepower an AMG version would give me. We'll find a clear bit of road in a minute. This guy's just sat in the outside lane. Unbelievable. Never mind. Deep breath. Drive around the idiots. You hear that downshifting because it's in sport mode. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to pop into here and put the roof up because I want to show you how quiet this car is. Okay, now the roof will work while the car is driving, but there are two caveats. One is you have to start with it stopped, if that makes sense. I rephrase that. You need to start the roof moving with the car stopped. So if I stop here for a second, and now I can hit the button to bring the roof up, and now I can drive on again. Which is actually a really handy feature because the amount of times you stop at the traffic light, it starts to rain or something and you think, oh, have I got time to put the roof up? You start, and as it starts to go, then the lights change and you're there like a moron with your roof half unfolded. So that is that's a very useful feature. Okay, let's turn around down here. There's that bloke again, look. There's something odd about that guy. I think he's dogging. I do. All right, let's spin around. Going on down here. Thank you very much. There we are. Okay, I'm going to put the car back into comfort mode. In fact, the other thing that changes, it changes the throttle response and the exhaust noise and the steering weight, but also the ride comfort. So we had quite a jiggly ride there. Put it back into comfort mode, all goes super soft. And actually that's an interesting point because I was slightly concerned with the bigger wheels that the ride wouldn't be as good as it was in my previous car, which had smaller wheels and therefore a less low profile tyre, but actually there's no difference. It is indistinguishable, which I was surprised about. And the road noise as well is also good. Okay, so this is, I think, the real benefit of this car. I mean, yes, it's a brilliant sports car, it's a brilliant convertible, it's all of those things. But above all, and really importantly for me, it's a bit of a limo. When you put the top up, oh, we've got a clear shot. Here we go. Okay, that is 25 miles an hour, 40, 50, 60, 70, and that's it. As I say, you could spend 30 grand more and you could do that a little tiny bit quicker. I'm not really sure it's worth it. I think that's fast enough. And there's just so much power there, even at that sort of speed. So that's at 70, and you can floor it. It drops to fourth, which means it's got 5 more gears to go and just takes off again. And obviously that would be breaking the law, so we won't do that. But how quiet is that? That is lovely. 70 miles an hour, and you can drive all day, put your massage seats on, you can listen to the nice stereo, and it's a brilliant, brilliant car for reeling in big distances. It was developed as a GT car much more than it is a sports car, and that's what it does. It's a Grand Tourer. It's fantastic. really, really like this car. This car is everything that the last car should have been. Never quite was. I liked the car so much, but I never quite fell in love with it. And this car I'm in love with. It is beautiful, and I'm hoping to keep this for a very, very long time. So yeah, happy days. Anyway, that's about the size of it, really. Thank you for watching and indulging my waffling about my car. And I might send a link to this to the previous owner. I had one owner from new, as I mentioned earlier, and he and his wife clearly babied and looked after this car. So thank you very much. It's going to be continued in that vein. In fact, I've already got it booked in for a full stage 1 polish and ceramic coating. So it's going to get the real proper finish on it, and it's also going to have the personal plate put on it, and then it'll be my car for who knows. I kept my SLK, another car I love very much, for 8 years, so maybe this one will do the same. I hope so. That's about it. We'll catch you on another one of these very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye to Marianne.
Bye to Marianne.